To sew an eyeglass case, you will need two 7.5 by 8-inch pieces of fabric. Make sure the softer fabric is your lining. That's going to be next to the glasses. Pick your design any way you want. Do it crosswise, do it up and down, get creative. Just make sure you do it nice and neat. You're going to do a nice clean top stitch, and you're going to iron the edges over so that there's no frayed edges showing. Sew the design as you like it, and feel free to change your mind as you go. Now sew the outer fabric and the lining fabric together, right sides together, on the 7.5-inch side, not the 8-inch side. Trim the seam on the outer fabric side only. Then press the lining towards the outer fabric, and then top stitch 1/4 inch on the top of the outer fabric. Now sew the OWC label on the lining, on the right side of the lining, towards what will be the top of the eyeglass case. Fold the fabric lengthwise with right sides together, pin and stitch all the way down, and then trim the seam. Now turn the lining down around the outside of the outer portion of the eyeglass case. It's a little tight, but get it aligned properly. This will make a big difference as to how this turns out, whether it's going to be neat or sloppy. Before I stitch the bottom, I will typically look back in to see where my design is and see what kind of alignment I'm going to want on my bottom seam. If I have the seam on the side, as I do here, we'll have one design. If the seam is in the middle, that will be a different design outcome when we're done. Add a second layer of stitching on the bottom, zigzag preferably, to keep the fabric from fraying. Once you have finished the seam on the bottom, you will turn it right side out, which is a little tough. Once you've done that, give it a good pressing and make sure that your corners come all the way out. You might need to take some blunt utensil or pen or pencil or something at the eraser side and push it out so you get nice square corners. Now I'm going to show you what the final eyeglass case looks like both ways depending on which side you made the seam. It's now finished.